in the beginning of the game, in the first innings, let's talk about that Maxwell Kohli innings that both of them played. Uh, uh, I mean, both of them have been quite consistent for RCB for the first two matches. To say, getting a 30 plus score on this pitch. I think last time also Kohli got a 33 or something, and this time also a 30 plus score. And even Maxwell doing quite well. Being actually playing that role of that anchor in their lineup, which teams were least expecting from a player like Glenn Maxwell, who had quite a few down seasons before this. So,
don't angry me.
What do you think about that? And Maxwell played quite a few good shots. I mean, some really powerful shots, some really good placement as well, and one of those really big sixes, which I really liked watching. So, what do you think about that?
Maxwell reserved himself in a great manner. He's making the message of the management clear that contain yourself, go till the end. You'll get those runs eventually.
Absolutely. I would like to, actually, I know this is a very weird comparison to draw, but I feel like, Maxwell had that Rishabh Pant kind of phase for a much longer time that Rishabh Pant did, where he was really he was really struggling when he was hitting the big shots, constantly getting out, and then getting that clear message from the management, okay, this is the job we wanted to do. We have a lot of faith in you, and you're our man. And that's exactly what he's doing, containing himself, playing a long innings, getting that half century and almost, anchoring the innings for the team. So great to see from him.
Weird
really
that we are,
I
want to say that weird that we are comparing an experienced man like Maxwell to a newcomer like Rishabh. Rishabh has.
I mean, I'm just comparing their scenarios.
Yeah, it is true, but it is weird that someone a newbie like Rishabh Pant has been made that message clear, but Maxwell is just starting to get that. It is like
Absolutely.
kind of like what has he been doing in the previous IPL? What was the management doing? It was like IPL sometimes feel like too much of corporate interference. Like let the players do their job. Let yourself, just shit with the money.
They say that, the earlier the better. I mean, so it's great that, Rishabh's learned these things early, and we have big players like these having these situations to deal with much later in life. So that's a huge plus for at least our young Indian players, that they learn these lessons early. Even Prithvi Shaw, for that matter, I think he's definitely learned early. So
and the management
great things to talk about
as well. They don't interfere with the game. They interfere with the game, and they make it clear that, man, this is not the way. This is not the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was listening to RCB head coach, I think Mike Hessen. That's his name.
Director of cricket.
Mike Hessen was being interviewed in the middle of the game, and he said, well, we've had a good chat with Glenn Maxwell, and we've told him that your role is going to differ this time around. We're not going to reserve you for number 6 spot when you've got to come, and like I said, this is not the Maxwell that you expect will come for 14 balls and will give you a 28 or a 30. That role
Absolutely.
is done. That role in the past IPLs has not worked for him. And I'll give you a very interesting stat. This is after 2016, almost 5 years in IPL now, that Glenn Maxwell made a 50. Now that's a staggering. Yeah, exactly. That was my reaction when I heard it. That's a staggering stat. That's not something that you're expecting. But this is something that I've been saying season after season after season, that Glenn Maxwell hasn't really been utilized to his maximum potential, right? There has been this constant talk that you push your finishers up in the batting order. We saw 2 days ago, right? KKR.
Absolutely.
They delayed Dinesh Karthik, and they said, well, Andre Russell will go even before Owen Morgan, and then Morgan came, and then Karthik came. That did not work for them. Russell got out very cheaply. Even Morgan got out cheaply. But you get the mindset is settling.
Yeah, we're clearly understanding the mindset.
Glenn Maxwell's innings today, that 57 or 60, whatever he got, I think that exactly proves it that players like these, they themselves realize that they need time, but the franchises hadn't been talking to them and saying that, well, what is exactly the role that you are looking for? And I think the reason why we find Glenn Maxwell so happy and jolly in this RCB outfit is because he's been talked to very freely, and he's been said, well, look, you've cost us some decent money, and now it's time that we tell you that we are expecting big things from you. So you tell us, how will you deliver them to us? Mm-hmm. And I think that talk has happened very sensibly. And the way Maxwell played today, you talked about constraint. I have been his one of the biggest critique in saying that, well, this guy doesn't give you those 50s and 60s, and kudos to him. He's been doing it. Good start to
Yeah.
both of his
That would be a
games.
plus for the Australian side too. We have to
Yeah,
notice
exactly.
It's
that.
already a
World-
plus, yeah. It's
World
already a plus
T20
for
is
them.
coming.
He's
World
performing. Yeah.
T20 is
Yeah.
coming. So
And that too is going
exactly.
to be in India.
And I'd like to direct you to the strike rate. Even if he's containing himself and he's going almost all the way, in a tough, and this is not some Wankhede Stadium, this is not an Eden Gardens, this is not Mohali. This is Chennai, this is the Chepauk pitch,
Mhm.
right, which plays a lot of tricks, and he's going till 59 or 41 there with a strike rate of 143. I mean, he's containing himself, but I just call it perfectly balanced, as all things should be. That famous line,
Yeah.
and I think that 143 is a pretty great strike rate for someone at number 3, number 4 coming in, and he's definitely doing his job brilliantly. I'm
I mean,
really pleased with him.
I
Yeah.
would, I would want to take the discussion to a very different thing about this RCB batting order, right? You look at their batting order. Devdutt Padikkal was restored to this batting order, and he's
Rajat
most
Patidar is missing.
yeah. That Patidar is missing. That's fine. My point is that Shahbaz Ahmed.
Look how
I love that. We wanted that actually. We
I
wanted
mean-
Devdutt Padikkal to be back.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
want-
But I was actually expecting Patidar in there, and
Yeah.
I didn't expect Shehbaz coming in at number 3 because there was a lot of talk about how well Rajat Patidar is doing in the nets, and we see the pre-IPL videos and everything, and all this build-up around him. Really looking forward to Rajat Patidar. He's been replaced in the second game, so we don't know what's going on. But yeah, Akshay.
And that exactly is my question, right? Because after what Shahbaz Ahmed did today, what is running in Kohli's mind? Does he see Shahbaz Ahmed as a bowling all-rounder now? Because if that is true, if he sees Shahbaz as a bowling all-rounder, then he would stop sending him at number 4, which he has been doing till now. Number 3 rather, right? We
Number
saw
3,
Shahbaz
yeah.
number 3 last time, and he did not deliver. And I am pretty sure that this guy will take a lot of time to come into the mix of delivering at number 3. So my question is, you've got a Sachin baby sitting outside who has IPL experience. Given that whole role, I am thinking, how do you stick to the same team? Because that is one option. But then the problem with that is you had Glenn Maxwell firing today, but AB de Villiers failed, and Dan Christian failed again. Dan Christian fails, AB de Villiers fails, Devdutt Padikkal fails, and Shahbaz Ahmed fails, right? And that is the reason they were stuck to 150.
I think
Now-
you've been also looking at people like KS Bharat and also a decent player.
Yeah.
We're looking at Suyash Prabhu
idea-
Desai, these guys, right?
The
So-
idea right now is what do you think is the way you look at this game? Because again, like I said, another game of close calls for RCB.
Mhm.
This could have gone the other way, like
Yeah,
the MI
yeah.
match. This
Cannot-
could have gone the other way.
Mhm.
Could have gone the other way. So, do you think they will persist with Shahbaz Ahmed, who till now has practically offered them nothing in the batting department, and their scores have been less? So what do you think?
I feel like it'll differ from the conditions. It'll depend on the conditions where they're playing. I think at a spin-friendly pitch like Chepauk in the Chennai Stadium, they have one more match left. I think they're playing 3 matches in Chennai, and I think they will definitely playing for the next game. After that, I'm not so sure. I think there will be a change in their batting lineup for sure, because when you go to these other places to bat, you definitely can't stick to your number 3 batsman getting out on a 10 if Dave or Kohli get out early. So you definitely don't want that. Now they're keeping faith in RCB-Maxwell. ABD is not going to be down for more than one game. That's not the kind of player that he is. So things are pretty okay. Jameson can slog the ball on a good pitch. He can play the short balls well. Decent batsman. So I think, that position is definitely going to change after the Chennai game, which is coming next. And maybe also in the next Chennai game, who knows, he comes down the order maybe before or after Jameson, if he's used as a spinning all-rounder. And you see Maxi go up at number 3. I mean, Dave, Kohli, and then you have Maxi, ABD, and then you are followed by the other guys. And you've got Shehbaz somewhere fitting in before or after Jameson. So who knows? Because seems like a similar kind of batsman like Sundar won't give you that really great strike rate, but knows how to bat. Good technique, all of that. Tried to hit a straight 6 and got out today. So